Shane, sum up the day, please.
I mean, it's a day that saw us lose 23 wickets on one particular day. It's a day where I quite frankly could not figure out, looking back, saying which side would be the happier of the two. I know you can logically say that India have their noses ahead, but even they'd be very disappointed with how these things have gone about. Anyway, the day ends now with them, I think, having a 36-run lead as things stand. South Africa, 3 wickets down. Couple of wickets fell towards the end, but I still think it's anyone's game. But really,
What were our predictions? Who said how many wickets?
You said 3 to 4. I said 1. You said 1.
I said 1.
And you said
2 to 3, I think. I didn't give a
2.
number.
You didn't say 3 for sure.
I don't remember myself, so I'll believe whatever you say.
No, I said 1. Sir said 3. Harshit sir said 1.
He's the younger, na? His memory will be sharper. Unlike Harshit, who have advised to eat badam.
Yeah.
Have you been eating those badams?
Not of late.
But he started working out.
Has he?
Yeah. Very religious.
This gym?
No.
Ghar pe?
Anytime. The gym that I can go to anytime.
That's why I am changing my gym.
Because I needed flexibility. So yeah.
So flexibility, you can go to any gym.
No, here there
I
are a lot of
can't say
problems.
the name out loud, so I've just dropped a big hint. So yeah.
Acha, the chain is the same.
Yeah.
So that chain.
No, not this chain. It's that chain that you see
And-
all around.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is there one here?
No.
So there's 3 of those that fall on the way to work. So I went with the one I'm doing my workout in the morning.
And in that chain, you know what? If you have enrolled in some chain, you can go to some
anywhere.
other chain also.
Not other chain.
No,
Yeah,
sorry, some
any
other
other
branch also.
Branch.
Sorry.
And
Outlet.
Sorry, yeah.
across the country it can happen.
Across the world,
Across
not
the
just
world.
country.
That's okay. Yeah, so there's none in office, na?
No.
The office
But there's one
has
right
a lot of
behind.
problems.
There's one right behind.
The office
Right
one.
behind office?
Right behind.
So you can walk to that.
Not walk. But again, it's on the way back.
But they're
or on my
not some
way.
price issues. I went there yesterday.
I told you to.
Take your name there.
Anyway.
Okay, coming back to the game. Interesting question that Shane raised when he was summing up the game. Because South Africa trailed by 36 runs with 7 wickets in hand. The question was, which team would be the happier of the two at the end of... I don't think we'd ever have said this. Usually this question comes up in every test match.
Yeah.
But usually it's day 3, day 4. Traditionally used to be day 4 and sometimes day 3. But in recent times this has cropped up in day 2 as well. But I can't think the last time this question cropped up at the end of day 1, where you are literally in a situation where you are getting to see which team might win. So the first question, before we answer the question as to which team is happier, I would love to know, is the game ending tomorrow, midday, end of day, or day after half a day, or day after end of day? So basically 1.5 day finish, 2 day finish, 2.5 day finish, or 3 day finish?
2 day finish. 2 day finish, things like
2 day before tea.
Huh?
Ooh.
1.5.
So 1.75 day.
Yeah.
2 days.
2 days.
Your prediction. You've been getting most of
That means it's the final session, you're saying?
Yeah.
Saying final session, it gets
Post tea.
Okay. They are 62 for 3. I say before tea tomorrow.
2 more sessions, you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, post lunch and between tea.
So basically we're looking about 40-45 more overs. That's it.
Maybe less, 30, 35 also.
At most 45.
I'm thinking it gets done by
So,
that
according to us, in no situation it's going to the 3rd day.
Yeah, none of us are predicting a
None
third
of
day.
us has predicted.
much. I'm not. Anyone going with third day?
No.
Shivam, you are?
Oh, no. Shivam wants you to give the slugs.
That I have. Acha.
Okay. So nobody predicting a third day. Do let us know if you think of the third day. That's the one question out of our way. Now to the more important question. Which of the two teams would be happier at the end of day 1? Let's start with the youngest panelist that we have?
I think South Africa would be happier again because 62 runs they have got those 62 runs. They were just behind 98 runs. 62 runs they've already got them. Again, they have a deeper and a more reliable tail also. So they know somewhere around if they start getting 20, 30, 15 runs from the tail also, if they somewhat try to reach somewhere approximately 110, 120ish, where India has to chase that total, then they would definitely be happy.
No, so you are saying they reach 110.
110, lead 110.
Lead of 110.
Lead
of
110.
110.
Which would mean that they need to get another 140
Yeah,
runs,
yeah,
which
yeah.
means they need to get 200 runs.
Yeah, 200 runs. 210ish.
6, 2 or 6 is the score, then going by that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying, 200
yeah.
runs. You think they're doing that?
Yeah, I do.
So you think South Africa they're happy
The
with it?
approach they have been batting, and I also feel the wicket would get a little better moving in tomorrow. And plus, Jansen, the way he has performed in the last game, lower down the order, I feel Rabada can also chip in with a few runs. So yeah, I definitely.
Yes.
And Biddingham is still playing.
I agree with him, but for different reasons. See, I can't predict what he's saying is ifs and buts. If they get these many and that many, I don't know. But I mean, I'm thinking of it from my own perspective. If I'm leading a team, they're 55 all out on day one, and I'm still in with a chance, I'm taking that. I'm the happy of the two teams. India should have had them dead to rights after getting them 55 all out, but they haven't. And
while I agree with what you're saying that at the moment, how the day started, South Africa would be happy, but I think they'd be more relieved than the happier of the two teams. Is how I see it. That I agree from that situation where you got the opposition out for 55, for a team to be still in the contest after getting dismissed for 55 is a good place to be in, and for another team that dismissed the opposition for 55 to be in a situation where they don't know what might happen to the test match is not also an ideal situation. I agree with all of that, but if I was to see which team have their noses ahead or would be the happier of the two teams, I'd still go with India, because again I'm only going by convention as to what we've seen. Convention tells me that if they do bat very well, very well, I'd give them another 100 runs. Okay, and you have to bat well to get another 100 runs. So which is why I'm saying 160 runs on this pitch. So they've lost 3 wickets. So with the 7, they get another 100 runs, and you have to bat well. That's not to say that they cannot get even 200 runs. You never know. All you need is one partnership, but then that could happen to India as well. But I'm just saying, going by convention, going by what you've seen in this pitch, while I agree that it will get better as the game goes on, but still it's still going to be day 2. There'll be juice when you're bowling first up in the morning. And it's not going to drastically change. The gradual betterment of the pitch would be day 3, 4, whatever. That we aren't seeing. So it's day 2, fresh pitch. So going by convention and how Indian bowlers have bowled and how much trouble each batter, whether it's a South African or Indian, is having on this pitch, I think I'm giving them, if I'm giving them a good performance, 100 more runs, that's 162, which means their lead is about 60 odd something that they give India. And while there's always pressure batting 4, but remember, batting 4 is always troublesome when you're batting on a pitch that has had wear and tear for 3 to 4 days. Which that's not going to be here. So India batting on day 2, so that wear and tear equation of batting last is out. And I do not see this Indian team collapse for below 60. I mean, they have to have one of their worst ever days in Test cricket, no matter the condition, no matter the bowling lineup, to collapse. So where I'm standing right now, if I was to pick a side, I'd rather be India than South Africa right now with what's happened. Having said that, it's a game of fine margins, low scoring games. One good partnership can do the test match, which means instead of 100, South Africa get 150, the target goes over 100 for India, then it's all to play for. It's a 50-50 game, anyone can win, can change. But at the moment, I would rather be India than South Africa. This despite the fact that India have let South Africa off the hook, there's no denying that, and South Africa can pat themselves slightly on the back to have been in this game after being 55 all out. Harshit, which would be the happier of the two?
India. I'd also go with India. Again, no denying the fact that India could have been in a much more cushy position, which I'm sure they would be ruing or would have rued by now, that they really could have had this match, let's say, they could have won it by an innings or something like that if they were to bat with discipline. But again, they'd be happy with the fact that despite those testy few overs to begin with in the last session where they didn't have a wicket for the first 30 odd runs, 37 runs, they had no wicket. To have these 3 wickets in the bag now, I think this is what gives India that slight advantage. Had South Africa gone into the end of day's play without having lost a single wicket or had the loss of a single wicket, then maybe South Africa would have felt that no, we've not just done a recovery, we've given ourselves a chance over here. With those 3 wickets, 3 top order batters gone, and with the South African batting lineup, by the way, David Bellingham only and only 1 test match old. Again, will have to come in, refocus again, and so much is now reliant on Aiden Markram the way I look at it. I don't expect Marco Jansen to play the kind of innings that he did every time, like the way that he did in Centurion. So I think that the gates once open will be difficult to, once the floodgates are open, will be difficult to stop for South Africa, which is why I'll give this Indian team a good chance over here.
Now to the other question. What do you guys make of the pitch? Poor batting, poor application, bad pitch, average pitch, okayish pitch.
Or good bowling.
Good bowling, whatever.
I don't know. I mean, see, the criticism we've always had of Indian pitches, and I'm trying to use the same logic, is that what we see nowadays is that you're getting Indian pitches with those kind of characteristics but turned up to 11. So you think spinning pitch, but this pitch is turning 8 degrees from day one. Similarly, you expect bouncy conditions, but to have it uneven from day one, where one ball from Siraj, where he's putting no effort, is absolutely shooting up, and then the next one, Dean Elgar, is playing like this. Below average rating incoming and loading. That's not to say the application couldn't have been better from both sides. Not the greatest of pitches either.
And I also think that at times when we even talk about the Indian pitches, when we talk about them, there also we tend to see that application at the end of the day we are saying that application wasn't to the fullest. At times on such wickets, it may be looking like the application wasn't the best. Here also it's looking like the application could have been better, but again the wicket, like Shane sir mentioned, so much uneven bounce since day one, definitely not going to take that away from them.
I would go with a below average rating for it.
Not poor?
Not poor. The reason being the amount of, I don't see those notorious characters are there in this pitch, but they're not as pronounced at the moment as.
So let me give you an example, because we were discussing that, the Indore pitch, right? That was rated poor by the ICC. Okay, why was it rated poor? ICC gave its reasons. They said one, it had uneven bounce.
Yeah.
Do you see uneven bounce here?
There's only been a couple of instances, I would say.
But there's uneven bounce.
One and two. Here
no, there have been
for that matter, even Centurion, I remember Shreyas Iyer.
There have been enough. I'm saying the extra bounce is also telling you that it's uneven.
There's extra
so
one.
And also there's no number that 5 times it's happened in this pitch and 8 times it happened. No. So there's uneven bounce in this pitch.
That's criteria number 1 tick.
Yeah. The other criteria that ICC said for the Indore pitch for rating it poor was that there was not an even contest between bat and ball. Okay, is there an even contest between bat and ball here?
No.
It's a no-brainer. In fact, that Indore test match went for 3 days.
This is not even going 3 days.
Is there even contest between bat and ball? It's not. My point is, if the Indore pitch has got a poor rating, I see no reason why this pitch does not get a poor rating. And my point is, we've also been critical of some of the Indian pitches. So let's first get one thing right. If people watching saying that, oh, you're being jingoistic or supporting our country, for India, that's not the case. We have at times criticized certain Indian pitches, not all, because we agree that the core nature of Indian pitches are going to be turning pitches. But we have criticized Indian pitches when the turn is vicious, where it doesn't give a even contest between bat and ball. We have criticized Indian pitches. So it's not that today we are just being, hyper nationalist and being like India and criticizing what's happening in South Africa. If you've criticized Indian pitches, then I think by the same yardstick, you need to criticize South African pitches. While I agree that pitches in South Africa will have their core nature, which is going to help fast bowlers, that should be there. and that's what makes each country distinctly different from the other, which is what makes playing in each country challenging, because it brings about different challenge. Having said that, you can't completely ignore the fact that if India were to make just rank turners from day one, they should be criticized. Similarly, if we're going to make pitches here where it's going to be absolutely impossible for batsmen to bat, while I agree that the batting skills have diminished, but the uneven bounce and the ball doing so much more with that extra bounce that even the best and the most capable batsers in Test cricket are not being able to handle it from both sides, may I add. Elgar, we all agree, right? One of the finest Test batters you've had. A Virat Kohli is that, right? A Rohit Sharma, while he's going through a poor form right now, the last few years has been the guy who's done well in Test cricket. So they are accomplished batters who are not being able to succeed at this level, and it just cannot be poor application by everyone. There has been poor application by a few players. We've discussed that. Maybe we'll discuss that going forward. But it can't be poor application by everyone. So I think if Indore got a poor rating, so should Newlands 2024.
Maybe.
No, I mean, there's no maybe, because again,
See, below average I'm certain about, but poor again. See, because I tend to sort of be with the bowlers a little more over here. When you have belters never get rated as poor.
Should. If it's going to be
It doesn't happen.
dull and a drab 5-day
I'm
Test
saying.
match.
I mean, I hated
like
Ahmedabad
the
for
one
that
in
reason.
Ahmedabad,
But was it rated
should-
poor then? It wasn't.
It was not. It did get a
So if
rating.
if that is something that the ICC and we as spectators of the game can sort of condone that, why not this?
See,
A little help to
I
the
think
bowlers.
this should be poor. By the way, just for the people who do not know, there's even a worse rating than poor, and that is unfit. But that unfit rating comes only when it's a dangerous pitch.
then lives are.
When
like we had in
it's
that ODI
Delhi,
here in Delhi.
India,
yeah?
Sri Lanka.
Yeah, so that is dangerous.
Even Jamaica, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is unfit. That is unfit. But I agree that neither Indore nor Newlands here is an unfit pitch. But they are both poor, in my opinion. It can't be that one aiding the spinner is poor, but the one aiding the fast bowler to that degree
Is not poor.
is not poor. It should be. But having said that, the naysayers will say, and I'll give you the other side of the argument also, because you're saying that it should not be given poor. I know what the argument will come, because if it is not rated poor and rated
Below
slightly
average.
better, which is below average, the argument could be, and maybe we can debate on that, I don't know, the argument could be that when you say a typical test match pitch, it should be a pitch that helps fast bowlers on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 are for batting, or day 2.5 and 3.5 are for batting, and from day 3.5 to 5 is for spinners. That's the typical ideal framework,
Yeah.
right? Now, what people can argue in favor of Newlands, I'm telling you, because that comparison, they could argue that if you were to follow this framework, and the degree can change, if you were to follow this framework, then Newlands somewhat falls in that category because it's helping fast bowlers from day 1 onwards. Whereas Indore, on the other hand, started helping spinners from day 1.
So the reverse.
So reverse, which is exactly the opposite of what the framework is. I'm not saying you have to follow the framework to the T, but the only counter argument to not rating Newlands as poor as Indore could be that the spinner should come into play much later and the fast bowlers need to come early, and because the Newlands test will not go 5 days, we will never know what was to come of it later. But the fact that South Africa did play a spinner gives you that they did think it will turn. The test match doesn't go there is another thing. So that's one argument in favor of Newlands not getting a poor rating but a below average. There's another argument that could be made in favor of Newlands not to be compared to the Indore pitch, and that is that pitches that turn from day 1 get progressively worse for batting as the test match progresses, which means day 2, day 3, day 4 will be
torture.
worse. Cut to a pitch like Newlands, the pitch will get better for batting from day 2 end to day 3 to day 4. So there's another thing that differentiates Indore to Newlands. So these could be the two arguments which I have given Harshit. So if Harshit has to argue his case that it should not be rated poor and it should be rated below average or average, whatever, then these are the two arguments you can make in front of the ICC. Or this is the two arguments that anyone who likes these pitches more than Indore and says we should not compare the two, or for that matter, if ICC was to rate it like that, these could be the two arguments that the ICC could present. That's the only difference that I see between Indore and Newlands. But if you ask my personal opinion, I would still rate both of them poor, because as I go back to that point, the two criteria that you've mentioned, one uneven bounce, check for Newlands, the other not a fair contest between bat and ball, check for New Zealand, poor according to me. I'd love to know what folks who are joining us have to say on that, because I think there is a lot of chatter about the pitch.
Also, a very big reason that it should be rated poorly is that uneven bounce is too much since day one. If his same in India, we would have seen lots of spin, not even lots of spin, little bit turn also on Indian wickets, you would have definitely given it poor rating. Here you have seen that uneven bounce, and that is very evidently visible. It's not even like that it's a regular pace or something. I saw that ball
Harshit
from
doesn't
Siraj.
say, he said only happened once or twice.
I don't quite buy that argument of uneven bounce that
Because
much.
he was busy giving headlines and...
No, I think I still saw a great degree of the match. Again, uneven bounce, I think I would still put it down to some wickets being given away by the fault of the batters. Even Dean Elgar in the first innings, I think it was his fault. It didn't quite stay that low. There's one ball that did stay low. Again, you look at some of these wickets. KL Rahul, his wicket was not because of poor uneven bounce. Neither that of Ravindra Jadeja, neither that of Prasidh Krishna.
but how do you see? How do you
It's
see
not important that
uneven?
there's a wicket that came on an uneven bounce.
Also,
No,
how
if
many
you see-
times was the ball true, or how many occasions did the ball truly stay low? For that matter, even Centurion then should be rated poor. So Shreyas Iyyar's wicket fell on a...
There were occasions. Makram himself survived so many because the ball was
Exactly,
flying.
but then that's what I'm
They
saying.
were
Then you
okay.
got to copy paste that logic over there as well. But there, I remember there was hair dryers and all that were also used. In fact, the broadcaster did show that on that patch where that hair dryer was used, there was that only one ball that pitched over there or around that area, and that actually stayed low. That was just about the size of your palm, that particular patch. But then nobody, just because that test match didn't see the kind of batting or didn't see the kind of result that you're seeing today, nobody's really talked about the pitch there. There also the ball did stay low a few times.
Yeah, it did stay low a few times over there. I totally agree with that. But there, that bounce, this bounce was really nippy, and you could see that it's happening from the pitch. Even on occasions when Siraj
Yes,
did
the
not
ball's climbing. I think the only thing is, yes, the ball's climbed. So again,
climbed at times really drastically, Harshit sir. At times you have seen here that the Siraj ball we were talking about, he did not put that effort on there. Neither did he put his wrist
Or there was
nor
no
his
pace.
shoulder. And on the next ball, that ball stayed low.
Even if I say Makram now in the fourth innings, Makram survived a few which stayed low. Certain that went missing Elgar's edge from Siraj, really like bounced off from that area, flew. Remember KL Rahul had difficulty holding one ball, went so high. So it's not, and that same ball from that spot doesn't necessarily stay low, but I'm saying that would have gone regular bounce like this.
Yeah, true.
And this one went flying. So that's also uneven bounce, right? It doesn't always have to be low. I think there has been enough evidence of uneven bounce.
let's see how day 2 progresses. But at the moment, I think below average, even I'd go for a below average. For me, I'd want to see a little more cricket for it to be rated poor.
But if this test,
What little more cricket it might be for it.
that's what I'm
Not
trying to
just
ask.
day 1, I would say. Again, because I could see certain batters not lose their wickets, and again you're talking about 23 wickets being lost and all. Maybe that 23 could have been 17, 18, and those collapses wouldn't have happened had there been better.
But at times when the wicket is such, you tend to see get this logic that at times the batters did not fully put their logic. And when England would come in India, you would see that with spinners also. At times you would say that the England batters could have faced the Indian spinners with little more logic. But on these wickets, that is what we can see. Because at times batsmen are so hopeless that they have to go for these kind of shots.
What is making us, because we've seen so many wickets fall. So if wickets falling is the only reason why we are having this conversation, then you will have to ask questions. What is the need for...
It's not wickets falling. It is an uneven contest between bat and ball. I agree that you will raise questions about certain batters' temperament, but you've got some of the top batters in world cricket right now playing this test match, and all of them have struggled. All of them.
That's the case. I mean, there's any match in the world you could have picked out on any given day, and there'll be 2 or 3 batters. You'll say, yeah, application on the day could have been better. You remove those, and you've still lost 23 wickets.
Yeah.
I'm saying the only one who looked slightly decent here was Virat Kohli, but don't forget, he found it. We are giving credit to Virat Kohli for his temperament. But if you found it very tough.
Very tough. Knew it since the beginning that he has to play his shots because as soon as you get that opportunity, you have to play the shot.
With India, we anyway say you play with 4 11, four number 11s, right?
Yeah.
You to take out 3 wickets, which were the batsman's fault. So you're only talking about 4 wickets.
That's what happened in the first Test match only. None of you got runs. 1 KL got it. That's what you have to do.
Then saying it basis just 3 wickets then again?
No, see again. I'm saying what are you going to do? You are playing effectively your best lineup only. People will now see this is a phenomena that we have in Indian cricket. Anyone who's not playing is on the bench is the best option.
Grass is always green on the
Exactly.
Like they say, the
so
one on the
now
bench
you will say that bring in Ajinkya Rahane, Cheteshwar Pujara. Again, I've been a big fan of the two of them, but I think there was going to be a time you move on, right? So it is now, and it's never going to be easy when you move on. Any country that moves on from certain set players will find it tough.
Yeah.
Very few are lucky enough to just have that transition very smooth. Can't happen. It will be tough, and it is not going to be foolproof. Maybe you will get some players and you test them and you realize they're not that level. You may have to go back to options 2 or options 3. We don't know. But that's how cricket works. But you'll have to take that step someday. Now you cannot just keep relying. So I have no issues with that. The issues is, again, let's look at the entire batting. Yashasvi Jaiswal, I think we all agreed. There's no technical flaw as such. I think he needs time. So, he's just playing his second series in Test match cricket. First time he's playing in South Africa. Give the kid some time. And as I said, he's not looked like a fish out of water. He's gotten out, but not like a fish out of water. That's the one player. Rohit Sharma is a captain. He's going to be there. We mentioned that he was your best Test player for the last 2 years. Yeah. He's now seeing a dip in form. He needs to rectify that. But with Rohit also, that it's not too many years you're looking ahead, right? You will have to find a replacement for that as well.
2 years tops.
Yeah, so you start looking at that anyway. At number 3, Shubman Gill. You think that he's got a future, everyone backs him. I agree that it's high time that he steps up as well. There are now indications that white ball cricket is affecting his Test match cricket. That is creeping in, those mistakes that you make in white ball cricket creeping into Test. But that's his real test, right? If you want to be an all format player, you will have to find that adjustment like a great in Virat Kohli does. If he can't do that, he probably will then just be a white ball player for India. He'll continue to play T20s and ODI. That could happen. Then you look at somewhere else. Comes to Shreyas Iyer, I think that is one area. See, Virat Kohli, I think no debate. He still remains your best Test batter. Coming to Shreyas Iyer, I think he's that one player that has been found wanting. We discussed it earlier because he does look at sea in Test matches. People will throw his average of Test matches, which I said is around 40, but it's in 11 Tests or 12 Test matches, but it only looks 40 because he got a lot of runs in Kanpur, in Chattogram and in Mirpur in subcontinental conditions. His 5 Sena outings have resulted in an average of 14 so far. That's not great reading, but I can also agree with the fact that 5 may not be the innings that you decide. Maybe he gets another 5 Sena outings. And you take a call whether he's the guy that you continue or then he's also restricted to white ball cricket. Okay, that's another player that you will have to look at. Maybe in time we keep talking about, I think KL in that sense you can't be harsh on him. He's got you runs in Australia, in England, in South Africa previously and again. So he's shown you that he can get you runs everywhere. All you require is more consistency and you can't have wholesale changes. So I think you continue with the KL for now.
And he's batting on a different number also.
Exactly.
No, so even KL is really depends on when Pant is back. Then suddenly he's looking over his shoulder again.
But he could still, because looking at no other option when we're discussing
he could be your backup also.
What a Gill is doing or what a Shreyas is doing, they don't step up. Yeah, exactly. Between them, I'd rather go with a KL, right? In Test match. So he might still slot in as a batter, even if Pant comes back. But I think he's still a step or two ahead of the Iyers and the Gills that we're talking about.
Even Pant,
I'm saying assuming Pant comes back to the previous form.
I doubt it will be a straight walk-in at the
moment. May not be, but I'm saying assuming he gets a chance and he shows the same form.
So much depends
No,
on
no,
Pant and
if-
the IPL.
No, I'm saying
No.
you go in with the best case scenario. Forget what happens. I'm saying go with the best case scenario. That he's fit, he comes in and
is playing the
sets
way he
it on
is.
this. Even then, you can fit in a KL Rahul, right? So that debate comes for later. So the concern may be majority of that is with Shreyas Iyer and to an extent with Shubman Gill. And I think the other concern you will have is Jadeja's form with the bat. Because just as you're looking at other players to step up, because you need that all-rounder, you're not getting a fast bowling all-rounder, you will need a spin bowling all-rounder. So you would need to start looking for a Jadeja replacement. Whether it's Akshar Patel, I don't know. If it is, start working on it. Whether it's Washington Sundar, I don't know. Whoever it is, you got to start working on a spinner that can be a proper bat. That can be a proper
And
bat.
Akshar Patel even gives that confidence with the bat.
But
That's
in
what I'm
home
saying,
conditions-
whoever that is. No, yeah, I agree. But whoever that is, you'll have to test them out. But for you to test them out, you'll have to keep him under pressure, right? So Jadeja also, just as you'll have to look at other players in terms of how many matches, maybe even Jadeja, you have to be mindful of how many matches to go with. Can't always be automatic. And you have someone there in the squad traveling with you, whether it's an Akshar or a Washington Sundar who's traveling with the team and knows. I mean, Washington's played well. We remember the Australia tour with the bat. So he looks like a proper bat too. So whoever it is, has to be in and around that area. So I think these are the three players pretty much that you will look at. Everyone else, I think, will continue to play a year, 2 years for sure before you look forward to. So you're still playing your best team. But whether the batting is the same as previous years, it's not. I mean, quite simply, Test cricket has gone through a sea change. It's happened everywhere. England too is playing Test cricket differently. So that's that.
Even a team like Australia, defending World Test champions, have their aggressive players there. They'll sometimes look to be more counter-attacking than what you'd normally expect.
Yeah.
That's how they're playing now.
Vishal Panchal says from the US, he's saying let bowlers also have some fun, why only batters? So he makes an interesting point because we spoke about the pitch. He's saying why is it that every time bowlers are doing well with this discussion comes up? Valid point, but my point is either ways it's bad. We want bowlers. I personally enjoy low scoring test matches. It's great fun to watch. But you cannot have low scoring test matches like the one that you'll see here or like the one that you saw in Ahmedabad versus England also, 2-day finish pink ball test match. Both are extremes. So we want bowlers to do well, but there has to be some sort of contest. I think the perfect contest was the one that you saw in Centurion, where bowlers dominated, but you also had a KL Rahul get 100. You also had a Elgar get 100, or you get Virat in the second inning get some run. So bowlers also had a lot for them. If they bowled really well, they could dismiss a team for 200. But if the batter applied themselves, a team could get 400. So that is the ideal sort of a scenario, which is also a 3-day finish, by the way. But I prefer that. So let bowlers have fun. I'm all for bowlers. I completely agree with you. I hated the Ahmedabad pitch, India-Australia.
That was terrible.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But that's
Baki comments,
okay, let's start. Fit Monk says, old KL Rahul is back. Fixed his place after scoring a ton now. Won't do anything much till next 10 innings.
Bit unkind.
Cheeky. But his place is merited now. Simple as that.
Yeah. Fit Monk, I think you're being harsh.
Too soon.
Very harsh.
Harsh is okay, but too soon.
I mean, in a series where everyone is struggling, team is getting 55 all out.
He's the one Centurion.
You've only seen 2 centuries.
In the whole series. As of now.
And one of them is Dean Elgar, who's played 8 ODIs.
By the way, on the subject of Dean Elgar, last innings got a standing ovation from both the Indian team as well as the South African team. Proud career, he's had. I think will go down as one of South Africa's finest test batters. What I'll remember him for is his grittiness, especially the last series I'll never forget. Took those blows on the body but just stood like a rock, helped them win that series after losing
The first test.
Yeah, so just as we as Indian were very proud of India's comeback in that Australia series, I think, South Africa did pretty much the same the last time they went. Even this time, that knock that he played in Centurion. So great servant of the game, a test batter. averages is third best average for any South African at home. That speaks a lot for a country that's produced some fine batters over the years. He's only after a Callis and a Gibbs in terms of averaging in Test cricket. If I think he averages 48 odd, if I'm not mistaken, in South Africa, which is outstanding. So, fantastic stuff, Dean Elgar. I like his grittiness, doggedness, will to stand there, take blows on his body, never give up.
Well, also love for the game,
power.
love for this format of the game.
Yeah.
Because now there's talk that he's not going to, it's not like he's coveted in white ball, but he will most likely be playing, I think, county as an overseas player. That's going to be his retirement, I think.
What better retirement, playing some county cricket, staying in the English countryside,
Yeah.
driving to a match.
Mm.
There you drive your own car, reach the ground,
Right.
play a match in whites. Perfect!
Perfect.
There you have to
Perfect
wear a
retirement plan.
coat to even a county match.
Yes. No, good thing is the cricket season is in the summers, because England or UK can be quite depressing in the winters. So he can then come back to South Africa.
South Africa,
He can
yeah.
enjoy summer, both sides.
12 months of the year. Something that sounds very depressing if you're Indian.
No, but the summer in UK will
Is
give
very
him the
nice.
winterish feel
Winterish feel, yeah.
that you get in South Africa. Huh?
Particularly if he's playing in places like the north, Manchester,
Yeah,
Newcastle, and the like.
But even if you're a bit in south, it's for us Indians at least. When I travel there in summer, it's nice. You wear a light jacket and you go
Light
out.
jacket summer, imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. They get all of 4 days of sun. So even in summers. But the only good thing in summer is that you get daylight at least. From morning till 10 at night.
It's
So at
pretty
least there's
bright.
light. Winter is depressing. So I have relatives there who's telling me like, and I've been there in the winters. But when you stay there, I've only gone for a few days. But when you stay there, you realize. So imagine kids. They go when it's dark to school. They come back when it's dark. Because the sun won't come out before 10, 11 in the morning, and it sets at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So imagine just going to school like it's completely dark, coming back from
But for me here, I've only got to worry about my almonds. They need to worry about the multivitamins.
yeah,
They don't get it.
yeah, they don't. But again, they're genetically made that way that they can do with less sunlight. If you and I don't get enough sunlight,
Yeah.
we'll find it tough. We'll be short on vitamin D. You need to, right? Because your ancestors were exposed to that much sunlight, so your body demands that. There's one, so the body finds way, evolution finds way to live with lesser sunlight and yet produce the required vitamin D. You and I would need sun.
True.
So, and that's I'm digressing, but that's the one health issue that Indians are facing right now, lack of vitamin D, because we're doing office jobs and we're not being out in the sun. as
We
much
avoid
as-
the sun also at times.
We avoid also. As much as our ancestors were.
Exposed.
So your body requires that much sun. Anyway. Merrick Biswas is Rahane and Pujara much better than Shreyas, Gill, Jaiswal, KL, 33 average, 100 in. We forget what Pujara and Rahane did every time in tough conditions. They have been soft targets. Merrick, I completely agree with you. There is no way that you can compare a Rahane, Pujara to the few players that you're saying. I completely agree. But when are you going to turn a corner? See, that's my point, and I extend this argument to T20 cricket also. Why are we scared to turn a corner? Let me give you an Australia's example. They've decided, right, to move on from David Warner. David Warner has announced a retirement not on his own accord. They've had a conversation with him and told him we need to start finding replacement. David Warner wants to continue playing, as he will continue to play other formats, at least IPL. Right?
He's made himself available for
World
CT25.
Cup.
No,
Correct.
CT25, he said if they at all need somebody, I'm ready. If I'm playing cricket, I don't mind giving my services.
So what does that tell you? He wanted to play, you've asked. So why you have to turn a corner? Now somewhere you'll have to take that uncomfortable decision of going with someone that may work, that may not work, that may take time to work.
Yeah.
But you can't avoid it. You cannot avoid it. And what had happened is that they had got back a short-term, replacement or just immediate fixes that you were looking at. It didn't quite turn out the way that you thought it will. So for the health of a country going forward, you'll have to take that hard decision. And as I said, it always, whenever you don't do well, anyone who's not playing looks the best player. If you look at the India's T20 team, when somebody sits out, then he's the best player. Why has he not played? As soon as he comes into the team, does not get runs. Why is he playing?
That's going to happen in this World Cup also.
I remember a lot of people were criticizing Pujara during the the WTC time, West Indies thereafter. People were saying, no, it's time to move past him. Now same people are saying, bring him back. I think that's not how it works.
See, but I think we as Indians need to learn something from Australia, barring the many other things that we need to learn. Once that call was taken that we are moving past Ian Healy and Adam Gilchrist is ready, they didn't look back.
Yeah. And it worked the other way also. While Gilchrist was having an amazing time, they didn't rush him in also. So eventually you've got, I think you gave them an extended run. You'll have to start. You cannot, have players for posterity just, playing. Sometime you'll have to change course, and as soon as you make any change, the first few bits are going to be uncomfortable. That's how it is.
That doesn't mean that you panic and get them back.
What were you saying about? Sorry, I missed. What were you saying? I didn't hear. Why were you laughing?
There was, when you mentioned about players who not playing, and when they are brought into the side, till the time that they're not playing, they look good, but they play when they're in the side, then they don't perform, and then you say the same thing against them. Like you're going to be saying the same thing in the T20 World Cup.
He's right, but
he's not wrong.
He's right.
No, but then to be fair, we've been consistently saying what we want from T20s.
Now it's almost certain that they are returning.
Doesn't matter now.
Unfortunately or
fortunately. It's like you've gone to a restaurant and you're explained to the waiter very clearly how you want your order, and he's just like, you know what, we're just going to do it our way anyway. And what do you do?
When is the team getting announced?
Anytime now. Chairman of selectors there. 3 selectors on tour are there in South Africa.
Including the chairman.
Yes.
Could be today also. 10:30 is the time they really like.
And Salil Ankola.
10:30 is the time they really like announcing team.
The test players just gotten over, then they'll have the meeting. It's quite possible that they may not have a meeting in the middle of the test match.
Yeah.
So most likely.
They have extra 2 days now. Or 3. 3.
Yeah. So test match will get over tomorrow. After that they have time. They maybe they'll announce it tomorrow or day after.
Maybe 2 days from now, yeah. Because
No, it'll either be tomorrow or day after.
And also there was this thing that this test series is ending.
Tomorrow or day after.
And only 1 day's gap, so players from here won't be available. Now everyone is
either you will get to know tomorrow after the test match or day after.
So 9:30 p.m. we know the time.
10:30. No, 9:30. Yeah, 9:30 to yeah.
So you'll get to know. Okay, Tripti Dimri, obviously not the real Tripti Dimri, says predict the 2 WTC finalists in this cycle. No, it's too early. We'll sit and do our math. Let Siddharth come and then he'll make his charts and give us all those charts as to who plays how many, where,
home, away, this and
what
that.
Points that. Then we'll ask him to do. Then we'll do a proper one, not just top of the head. It's never a fair assessment. So let's give ourselves time to reach that. Nobita Nobby says Shardul could have been better option than Prasidh this test match, could have made 20-30 crucial runs. But I'm saying while it now seems in hindsight the correct decision, I think at that time nobody had a clue that this is how it's going to turn out. I mean, for that matter, look at South Africa. On this pitch they've dropped a batter and played Keshav Maharaj, who will not have any role to play as a bowler.
He's not getting to see the ball only.
Exactly. Now. So it's not just that India may have made the error. Nobody thought that this is how it is.
When Keshav Maharaj was drafted into the side, you were thinking, okay, if this is going day 4, then maybe South Africa knows something about the pitch that we failed to know.
Oh, it's not going day 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Then right now Keshav Maharaj is playing as a left-arm fielder.
So that decision's backfired actually.
Exactly my point.
So if it works out, you're made to look like a genius. If it doesn't, you're made to look foolhardy.
So in hindsight, all of this looks fine, right? But I think they went with 4 proper bowler. I thought that was a very aggressive decision by Rohit Sharma, which I like. I think it's a typically defensive decision would have been you dropped a Shardul, played a batter, extra batter, and say, okay, we'll manage with these bowlers, which in hindsight would have worked very well in these pitches.
It would have.
Because all you needed was an extra batter now. Your remaining 3 fast bowlers would do the job. You don't even actually require Jadeja now to
You don't need a spinner.
So Jadeja is actually functioning like a batter. You could have played in another batter. Which may have helped.
Down
Whether you play, doesn't matter.
Where?
Play him down the order. What's the
how does it matter? It's anyway going to be facing the new ball. 15 overs only you're getting to bat. It's almost batting like number 3. Batting at number 5, 6. How does it matter?
Yeah, again,
I'm
batting
saying,
with
but
the tail.
this is in hindsight.
Yeah.
So which is why I'm saying I like the decision of Rohit Sharma. He went with his 4 out and out bowlers. That they weren't needed is another thing, or maybe needed now going forward. But if we have to select team now, even South Africa would not select Keshav Maharaj. You selected. Both teams, erred on that much. Okay. Just leave एक जगह छोड़ दो अभी थोड़ी देर. Please. Siddharth says today it was the trailer of how Sachin sir gave the idea of playing an ODI in 2 innings each. Good point. Good point, Siddharth. In first time Sachin gave that idea was in a session with me. Not here, but for another organization.
But people in Gurgaon
No,
have
here
been
also
following-
he hinted at this.
He said very clearly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the very first time
yeah.
was in 2017 at the HT Summit. But yeah, point is valid by Siddharth that Sachin said that to make ODI interesting, make them into 2 innings. There you go.
You have it.
But it is interesting.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, man. Let's have it.
This happens and people in Gurgaon have been following this since 2016.
So yeah, local the gully mein to there are so many
25
rules that we.
overs,
People in
matches.
Gurgaon
No, but that's a pretty interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Na? So like that, in local level, there's so many other interesting ideas that are going. But he spoke about international.
Right.
So we got to see international cricket happening like that. Good one, but GGK says would like to have 15 minutes rant by Shashwat about Ashwin 500 wickets and why Ashwin should play instead of Jaya. Go.
I'm going. I've heard it before.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it again.
Okay, Piyush Tandre says shortest test match with result was 1932 South Africa versus Australia, lasted for 109 overs, with South Africa 36 all out, then Australia were 153, and again South Africa 43 all out. In recent time, South Africa versus Australia in 2022 lasted for 144 overs.
This is last year's series.
Today.
Yeah.
This is on course. 109 overs could be, never know.
So 20, 17.
How many?
23 and 17.
So that's 46, 56,
63.
and that is 63.
Will it last 100
We have been
overs?
projecting about 40 more
Definitely,
overs.
definitely could be the shortest ever test.
Could very well be the shortest ever.
40 overs, so yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Shekhar says 36 all out, 78 all out leads, 152 for no loss, 170 for no loss, 208 run loss in WTC, 4 boundaries in 30 overs of the World Cup final.
He's taken out the
6 wickets
worst.
for no loss. Very embarrassing records. This is some next level Schadenfreude.
It's like having a sadistic pleasure.
And he's mixed formats here also.
Yeah,
152, 170 is everything.
The worst of everything he's pulled
The
out.
worst of the worst.
The worst memories of Indian cricket is put together in one cup.
It is the cocktail of, I can't say the word, but
We always came back though. Just not after 152 and 170.
after 170, so you're going back to
Yeah,
what took you to 170. Just saying. You're going back to that.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Okay, छोड़ दो शिवम, छोड़ दो.
Chod those then.
Okay. Mayor Syed says in this pitch, whoever gets a 50, it is equivalent to 100. Valid point. Valid point. Though 100 is 100 is 100.
Yeah, again, because looking back into the scorebooks when we'll see it,
We'll always remember. Nobody will remember a 50.
No, only see the last column, yeah. There's nothing called as impact, situation, circumstances, nothing like that. 1 hour of cloud cover.
Nobody remembers that.
Though I remember, and I always say that 2 of the finest knocks that I saw were 2 half centuries by Rahul Dravid at the 2006 Kingston Test match. That was a poor pitch, if ever there was a poor pitch. You talk about uneven bounce here, that had even worse, and nobody got a 50 in that Test match. And Rahul Dravid on that pitch got 50s in both innings. Both. Unplayable pitch in Jamaica. 2006, I was there at that Test match. Incredible knocks. Okay, Sai Krushi says, do you think that players of the previous era like Sachin, Ponting, Kallis would have handled this pitch better than the current generation of players? It's tough to say because, as I said, this is an uneven pitch. Having said that, again, it's conjecture, but I would still think yes. Primarily because also you got to see, you got to also look at this generation. This generation has had to play a lot of T20 cricket, which is another step to the left or the right, whichever way you see it, to ODI cricket. And from there to balance the other extreme, the other end of the spectrum, that is Test cricket, is not easy. And while I agree that a Sachin and a Ponting and a Kallis could have handled this pitch much better, but could they then have handled this pitch better if they were also playing as much T20 cricket in their prime as this generation is playing? Maybe not.
Again, speculative, but probably not.
Probably not. So all I'm saying is not that the talent has diminished or these players or these batters are any less than those generation, just that they are working on a much broader spectrum. So it's like you have certain powers, and if you are going to increase your power here, you will have to get slightly weak in the other thing, right? Because the level is the same, and I'm only talking about the top. So they're all top performing at the same level, but if you're stretching them too much and getting them to perform at 3 different formats consistently, it's not easy. It's not easy. So if you are going to, and those players you're talking about got stretched over 2 formats, not 3. So I think, again, while the answer to your question is yes, I think Sachin and Ponting would have handled it better, but that would be Sachin, Ponting, Kallis playing 2 formats. But whether Sachin, Ponting, Kallis playing 3 formats consistently could have handled this better, no. I think they would be as good or as bad as
The current
the
lot,
Virat
let's
Kohlis
say.
of the world are at the moment.
The best of the current lot, basically.
Yeah. Because, the best of each generation are best for a reason. Right. And I think the best of each generation operate at the same level. It's just that times were different, rules were different, conditions were different, circumstances, everything was different. So you see the discrepancies in their record. But if they all played at the same time with the same things that are happening, then it would have been fun to see who does better or worse. Okay. Satvik said Dravid should resign if he failed to win this match. He's good for nothing. Oh my God, that's really harsh. We're going back, and overseas performance isn't as good as what it was under Kohli and his man. But we just drew a series in England.
Which you should have won.
But that was half.
Just one
Or
game.
more than half was with Ravi Shastri, and then
4-1.
And against a different England. You have to remember that. You were playing early era baseball, you had no idea what hit you. When they were chasing, 300 something in the 4th innings?
386.
Yeah. And they made it look like Chelsea.
yeah. Okay. If India's target to 100, can India win? Shan asks, if India are chasing 100, can they win? If you ask me percentage wise, and maybe we can go across the room and everyone can. If India is chasing 100, I'd give them a 70% chance of chasing
Same.
65, yeah.
75.
Yeah, well, they're all the same. It doesn't matter. The 5% open chair. Everyone's saying 70%. Okay. Mayor said you have told this on World Cup final about bad day for India to lose and rest. As in, I didn't get that. What does that mean?
India lose the toss, maybe? I don't know.
You don't understand that.
No, I didn't get it either.
Okay, let's take Shivam.
Please.
Supers.
Upar.
So Vishal has a new one, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's plenty.
Yeah.
So there's even.
Okay, let's start with Rohit Tashwa Singh, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sing something because there's a Ra afterwards. So
Could be Rathore.
yeah, most likely.
Yeah, but we can't see the full. Anyway, please, someone take the question.
Is BCCI serious about Test match cricket? # blame BCCI.
Is he complaining about the fact that you're playing 2 tests? Then that's not the BCCI.
Or maybe that they're not taking it
system,
seriously, so
yeah.
not preparing for it and the likes. It could be very layered.
We have no
question.
backup. We have no plan.
No, I think it's an unfair criticism. I do not see anything that they're not taking Test cricket seriously.
No, but the same point that red ball cricket isn't being given that importance at the ground roots, and if that's not happening, then I think the whole system would eventually.
Then why isn't that happening? There's a reason it's not happening, right?
Packed scared.
No, not just patch schedule.
No,
it's
but-
because what drives the money at the end of the day. It's not
Yeah.
about cricket and specifically T20s.
Then BCCI isn't clearly.
No,
giving
that
much.
no board is. No board is. You can take it from me in writing. Even in England and all.
No,
play
I think
15
England and Australia still are.
No, they England. I agree. They
England,
play a
they
lot
play
of
those,
tests.
yeah, exactly.
But even those, they are very set with where they play, how they play, who they play. It's not like they're going to be touring every Tom, Dick, and Harry nation.
Yeah, they don't, but they still have different set of players for test. Someone like a Labuschagne, Smith. These players
That's-
don't play the other formats, so that's also. And they are still their domestic structure isn't falling apart.
I would disagree with
Like,
regards to county. The county
County,
system has
yeah.
definitely crumbled.
Vishal Panchal asks, any scoop in the T20 team is Virat, Rohit, either of them coming back? Shashwat can answer.
Yeah, they are. I told you that day also off record when we were going. I told you a week back. They were laughing that day.
See, if
On
one
my
comes back, then
views.
the other has to come back. It's a
No.
package deal.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a package deal. By
I
the
think
way.
it will.
Yeah. Maybe the selectors want to go with one person. Other person, if that person is not.
No, tell them. No.
No, if
No,
the
no.
other person isn't happy with that decision and then that person scores a lot of runs in the IPL, then you have to take both.
See, IPL will be the benchmark.
And
What happens in the Afghanistan T20s?
Both are coming.
I'm not sure.
Or
That
maybe
does not mean they're not playing T20 World Cup, mind you.
Rohit is definitely coming.
I'm not sure that they'll be there in the Afghanistan T20s.
And the broadcasters are so smart that they have gone with the safest option. They've put Shubman Gill.
That tells you something.
That tells you a lot.
I mean, it also tells you they've got a nice little docu-series on KL.
That's another
The
broadcaster.
broadcaster is different.
Oh, yeah. I forget.
The other ones for the ODI cricket.
No, but the timing is not coincidental. Who has the rights for ICC tournaments?
The broadcaster who's showing.
Correct.
No, but
It's not a coincidence. Take it from me in writing. Too much going on there. There's no smoke.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Afghanistan team does not feature either of them. But as I said, that does not mean they're not part of the T20 World Cup.
World Cup.
no, I think Rohit Sharma. I think the Afghanistan series would give a very big picture because selectors
No,
going there.
IPL.
I
Selectors
would
going
say
there.
that it's the be all and end all of it.
Ah.
If a good IPL, I would say even a decent IPL, and it's a
By
walk-in.
which one?
Both.
Either.
No, one
But
to
can
is
I
coming.
tell you, to be honest,
no
it doesn't matter how
what.
their IPL is.
Yeah. Rohit to is
I was going
coming
through
no
this
matter what.
Again. Chalo, we'll see.
Rohit is coming no matter what because they'll say that we need
With
it.
one comes the other. I agree
Why?
with you.
You have Hardik Pandya.
You have, but you don't know na if he's fit or not for the Afghanistan series. Then
Surya
you'll.
Kumar Yadav.
Sky is also probably
No,
not
but
fit for
that's
Afghanistan.
I would want Surya Kumar Yadav. The
but you are
selectors
saying so
wouldn't.
confidently.
Because I think with
Yeah.
Sky, there's a question mark over. He had that injury at the end of the.
Huh,
South
Yeah, even he is
Africa.
not available for the Afghanistan
So,
series.
do you need
Shubman
for
Gill.
the Afghanistan series a captain? Yeah, Shubman's going to be captaining an IPL team.
Could very well captain India. Who knows?
No, but also that's a really safe thing to go now, na. That you can say that we have no other person, that's why we are getting Rohit. Then Virat will have a great IPL and then you'll get him also.
Never
Best.
say never.
Nobody can say
never
anything.
say. We'll
This
find
is
out.
where-
We'll find out next 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, Naval Singh is saying, is India regretting not playing his fast bowling 4 in the last test match? Mukesh and South Africa pitch looked like a match made in heaven. Love from UAE. Good point, Mukesh. Good point. I think they, as I said, they erred not playing 4 fast bowlers. Having said that, the only benefit of the doubt I'll give Indian team was that because there was no Jadeja, I think you needed to compensate in the batting, which is why you got a shot.
Otherwise, you'd have been playing 6 batters.
Yeah, but had Jadeja made it into the 11, which he would have had he been fit, I think he would have gone with this. So this was their plan A, but they could not have the plan A because Jadeja wasn't fit. Once he got fit, then they played their plan A team.
Good point by Naval. You said Mukesh.
A good point by Naval, yes. But I took
Regarding
Naval's name.
Mukesh.
But I took his name when I read it. Achha, towards the end.
Yeah.
Mr. Shekhar.
He's asking if you received this sweater as a souvenir. Because it does resemble the Indian sweater a lot.
Yes, Mr. Shekhar, this is the official WTC sweater that was given to me courtesy ICC, the International Cricket Council. That is why I will not criticize whatever rating they give the pitch. Just joking, I will. So yeah, this was when I was covering the game at Oval. Very, very nice souvenir. And I must put this picture on Twitter or Instagram and thank the ICC. And I got it then, but never got a chance to wear it. Just kept lying because summers.
And then people will call you paid journalist by ICC.
Good day to criticize the pitches. That
Wait and watch if you did see the show. Wearing the ICC
jersey.
sweater, I
Criticizing
said that
ICC?
it should have the rating. And maybe the day the rating comes out, I'll wear this sweater
Again, just to make the point.
Yeah,
But to be fair, we're all paid journalists. Who here works for free?
absolutely. Yeah. Okay, shall we?
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys.
One more day.
Yeah,
And then Final Frontier is done and dusted
can't take all your questions.
until 2 more years.
I think
5
India,
days.
final frontier, India could draw this test series very well.
Even then, you've still not won.
That was done as soon as you lost.
As soon as you lost that first.
Big
But-
teams haven't won. So many have never won. So it
The
would
only
have been-
Asian team, by the way, to have won in South Africa is Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Of all teams.
2019.
Again, South Africa, unpredictable.
We were thinking of 10 days of test cricket. We got only 5.
Half that amount.
Okay. On that note, thank you guys. Have a good night, whatever is left of it. See you tomorrow at. Now we come live at the lunchtime, right? Straight up at lunch, which is going to be at
3:30.
3:30 live tomorrow.
Or earlier. Who knows?
Or earlier. Yeah, we better be in office earlier because we have to go live whenever it's allowed.
Yeah, today we were all caught napping when the Indian team.
I made it entirely by mistake.
I had only.
Entirely by mistake. I was assuming 12:45 we're going live. I'm here by 12:45.
No, not that.
Even
Not that.
I was, when you told me that I was here in office only because I was, so when I asked you, then you said that 1:15.
We are going to be live next when either lunch or South Africa all out.
Whichever is earlier.
Probably the all
Or
out.
South Africa or all out before actually getting to the completing the trail. Did they get all out?
So that's what I said.
He just had a Harshad.
You just did a Harshit, exactly.
I've been contagious, right? As he says.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Take care, bye bye, good night, vanakkam, nandri, shabba khair,
Shubh Ratri.
Shubh Ratri,
Bye.
eat your vegetables, ram ram,
सारे आने.
don't trouble your mother. Do whatever you want to do, do not trouble your mother. Bye bye.